We have a major New York Yankees update as a Yankees insider has given a shocking report into the biggest storyline around the New York Yankees right now, and this will have such a huge impact on what Brian Cashman decides to do with trades and how the New York Yankees go about their season going forwards, and we're going to break it all down. We got some good news. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're enjoying the channel and are part of that 69% of people watching this video who's not subscribed, make sure to hit the button. It really does help me out a ton. I'm on my grind right now. We're really trying to get this channel to 6K. We've been at 5K just too long after going from 3K to 5K in 11 days. We're getting back on that grind, multiple videos every day. You guys do not want to miss out, but you guys don't care about this. You guys want to hear the news, and that's what we're going to do. We got to talk about Gerrit Cole, guys, because Gerrit Cole obviously is the biggest storyline surrounding the New York Yankees as he got his torn UCL Tommy John surgery, and everyone's sad and heartbroken that there's no Gerrit Cole for the time being, and for all this season, there's no Gerrit Cole. Well, Brian Hoke just gave a major update into the Gerrit Cole situation, and this is absolutely phenomenal news. Is not only will this have an impact on how the New York Yankees go about this season, it has an impact on what Brian Cashman's going to do. All eyes are on Cashman as the New York Yankees kind of decipher the market for any help that they can get either on offense or defense. Now being without Gerrit Cole, being without Luis Gil for the first 3 months, being without Giancarlo Stanton for a random amount of time that nobody knows yet. We know that Brian Cashman is going to have to do serious due diligence to figure out the best moves going forwards. And well, now we know via Brian Hoke a huge update on Cole, and I'm not going to make you guys wait. Look, as Brian Hoke mentioned, Gerrit Cole's UCL surgery included internal bracing, according to the Yankees, which can reduce inflammation and speed recovery time. Generally speaking, this means he's closer to a 12-month recovery than if he had the procedure with the traditional method. And I know a lot of people are thinking, is this a rush job? Well, Hoke understood that and also said that this is a relatively new thing compared to Tommy John surgery, and it's an option if you don't have a complete tear. There it is. That's not Gerrit Cole. There it is. The man did not fully tear his UCL. Absolutely massive news. I mean, we already knew that it was like a difficult situation because he went to a doctor who recommended Tommy John surgery, and he got a second opinion that also said he definitely should have Tommy John surgery. So Gerrit Cole got Tommy John surgery. However, being that he went to multiple doctors, being that this was a confusing situation, it's not the most surprising thing to hear that he didn't fully tear his UCL. This is absolutely a massive update for Gerrit Cole and the New York Yankees. As Brian Hoke saying this now means the New York Yankees, they'll get Gerrit Cole back sooner than all fans thought. We all thought that we wouldn't be seeing him until like May of 2026 or even June of 2026, being that this recovery can take up to 18 months sometimes. So all that being said, absolutely a huge update for the New York Yankees. And going off of what Ohio State's an article from the Ohio State School of Medicine, they talked about this injury with the internal bracing, and after 16 weeks is your return to activity phase, which means you start doing the normal things again. You start getting back to things. You do plyometrics to get the motions back down. You continue to strengthen that elbow and that arm, especially the upper arm, so you could really just get things moving well. You do some upper arm workout. You're already doing sprints by phase 5. This is the final phase. And well, don't get caught up in that week 16 plus. Like, oh my God, is he going to be back in 4 months? No. But I'm not going to let anyone believe that because that's not what I'm saying here or what this medical article is saying. But on top of that, you start to throw again, and long-term planning of throwing will definitely be ramped up, and the typical return to the sport timeline is 8 months. Now, that is what you like to hear, because if the Yankees make the World Series, it means maybe, just maybe, there's a world where Gerrit Cole then might try to do a quick turnaround to sacrifice that arm to give the New York Yankees a World Series, and then it becomes the basis of, is this worth it or not, which is the big question that you have to ask yourself. Is it going to be worth it for Gerrit Cole to do this? Well, we'll get there. We'll get there with time. We'll see how the Yankees season goes before we jump to any conclusions there. Though I actually also would like to hear what you guys think about that in the comments down below. So definitely mention if you'd be willing to sacrifice Gerrit Cole for him coming back early so he could pitch in the World Series. Imagining in this fantasy world that Gerrit Cole comes back and plays like the Gerrit Cole we all know and love. So it's very interesting to see that. And Ohio State also talked about this a little bit more in their medical article, talking about this, saying UCL players with internal bracing is typically performed when there is a complete or partial tear at the proximal or distal insertions of the partial mid-substance tear, and there is a good tissue quality of the UCL. UCL repair with internal brace rehab is typically accelerated compared to UCL reconstruction, which Gerrit Cole didn't need because he didn't fully tear his UCL. However, it is important to continue to perform a comprehensive approach to treat the entire kinetic chain. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a medical expert, but that sounds good compared to if you got the normal Tommy John surgery. That's as far as my medical expertise knows, outside of don't get injured the best you can so you don't have to need to know medical terms. But, well, there we have it. Gerrit Cole seemingly will be back sooner than we initially thought, which is absolutely huge. Now, does this mean he's going to be back this season? Almost certainly not. If he was, it'd be one of the most shocking things in history of baseball if he's able to return. Again, if they make the World Series, if they need Gerrit Cole to play, he's going to try to get his arm onto that mound. But it becomes then the question of, is he even going to be allowed to? Is Hal Steinbrenner going to step in and make a ruling? Is it just going to be up to Aaron Boone? What's the deal going to be? But again, we have to focus on the New York Yankees making the World Series before we talk about what if we make the World Series, can Gerrit Cole show up? But the Yankees, they certainly need their ace back when they can get him back, but also with the caveat that you want him to be fully healthy and ready to go and pitch like he never had Tommy John surgery in the first place. He's at a 2.0 WAR for his career with 8 wins and 5 losses, or in his season last year with 8 wins and 5 losses. Sorry, I've made a ton of videos today, guys. My brain is kind of mush right now. But he had a 3.41 ERA, which would have been in the twos had he not played those games against the Red Sox and the Mets. I really can't speak right now. I'm sorry, guys. But, well, you look at Gerrit Cole. I mean, Rafael Devers has just been able to figure Cole out. And outside of that, he just had that massive blow-up against the Mets that messed with his ERA because he only pitched 17 games last year. He had 95 innings pitched on the season with a whip of 1.126. All these worse than his career averages, but he was also coming off some elbow stuff to deal with. Now that elbow's going to be fixed up, and we're expecting, since it's his first Tommy John surgery, for him to be able to come back and be fine, because once you get one Tommy John, you're able to return to that same guy. Once you get two, that's when things get kind of rocky and when guys usually can't return to form after that. So it is interesting to see if he can get back to the guy who has a 3.18 career ERA average with 153 wins and 80 losses, being one of the best pitchers of this generation. Almost certainly one day will have a Yankee hat on his plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame when he evidently makes it. So there is all this to go over. Gerrit Cole, one of the best pitchers in baseball, showed that time and time again for the New York Yankees, including winning a Cy Young. So it is important to note that all this is good, important stuff. But meanwhile, the Yankees are going to have to live life without Gerrit Cole, and that comes down to Max Fried being your ace with a 3.25 ERA last season, hoping that goes back to around the career average of a 3.07, hopefully even under 3, which would be huge. He started 29 games last year, showing some good health when he needed it most, had a 1.64 whip for last season and his career average with 166 strikeouts. He's not a strikeout pitcher. He's the best ground out pitcher in baseball. I did a whole video on Max Fried, so stay tuned for that. We will take a deeper dive of things then, but he had a 3.5 WAR. He's a very successful pitcher, and is perfectly capable of being an ace on a World Series level team because, well, he's done it before. So it's important to note that the Yankees pitching is not terrible. It's just not as good anymore because they lost 2 Cy Young candidates in Gerrit Cole and Luis Gil, but Gil will return. And when Gil does return, the Yankees are expecting that type of production out of him. He didn't miss any time, but he got worse as the season went along, and so did 3.1 WAR with a 3.50 ERA. He was looking like the Cy Young, but he kind of gassed out because he's recovering from the Tommy John surgery, but he did stay healthy. He put up 29 starts, had a whip of 1.193, ERA of 3.50, which is not bad at all. Luis Gil looks like the future ace of the New York Yankees as long as he can stay on the field, which has been the big concern with him as he's now down with that lat strain, which should keep him out till June. Same injury that Clark Schmidt missed the entire summer for, so it is important to note that as well. The Yankees also need Carlos Rodon to have his best season as a New York Yankee. I mean, the 2 years before the Yankees, he was putting up an under 3 ERA, and now, I mean, he had that over 6 year, and then this year was perfectly all right. But the 3 guys who I've shown, Max Fried, Luis Gil, Carlos Rodon. Those are the three pitchers the Yankees are going to lean on in the playoffs of this season because they don't have Gerrit Cole. So they're going to have to perform. There's no other option. So we're going to see how the New York Yankees are able to fare without Cole and with these three guys who still make up a pretty good top of the rotation. It's just a matter of, can Rodon return to the form that he was before he signed with the Yankees? Can Max Fried stay healthy and be that guy? Can Luis Gil come back from this injury and show that he's still Luis Gil? It's all of these questions that have to be answered before we can dive in to really knowing what else the future holds with the New York Yankees. But as I said before, maybe if they make the World Series, there's a world where Gerrit Cole is definitely going to try to play. It's just a matter of if he's actually going to and if he's going to be allowed to. Let me know what you guys think down below. When do you think you'll see Gerrit Cole pitch again? Tell me in the comments. Guys, like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Yankees.